So back to the adventures of Susan MeeLing, Scuba Diver Extraordinaire. That's me. Written by Reverend Susan MeeLing, Reverend MeeLing, Lady Dori, Belle. I've gone by a few names. You can go to the information in the drop-down portion to go to my website to be able to purchase the books online. So, going to page 172 of Volume 1, chapters 1 through 4. The second specialty course for scuba diving that I took was Peak Performance Buoyancy, along with the third one of the Underwater Navigator. Now there's two different particular locations that each of those took place. So the Peak Performance Buoyancy, actually both of them took place, if I'm not, they both took place during different times, obviously different classes, but along the same line. So Peak Performance Buoyancy partially was taken care of at Aquarina Hot Springs in San Marcos, Texas. There were the hoops that you scuba dove through, although that was also during the Open Water National Geographic course, which is a real quick side note. The scuba instructors, Kevin in specific, but also Rich, they both kind of, when the class got out of the water, I was the only person who didn't have to go through the rings twice. And so I was asked a few questions after that because everybody, in the class had to go through a minimum of 3 different times, because if your tank touched the ring once, you were automatically told to turn around and then go back to redo it again. And I was the only person who went through one time. And on the first try, succeeded. And so I was kind of asked about that. Like, how did you do that? How did you control your breath that way? And I was just, I paid attention in class. Thought about a few things. As I said, I take scuba diving extremely seriously. I might, make a joke here and there, or be sarcastic, but it doesn't change the fact that, I do take the instructions very seriously. I very much understand and comprehend how important these classes are. And I know I look like what I do, but I don't want to waste your guys' time, not yours or any of the others who I wind up learning from. So, I pay attention as much as I possibly can. And when other students ask questions, I listen. Not just to the question that is asked, but I also listen to the response. And both Kevin and Rich kind of looked at me and they were like, "Oh my God, are you kidding me?" And I was like, "No, I'm serious. I didn't realize it was that big of a deal." They're like, "Yeah, so nobody," and when we say nobody, we mean absolutely nobody, has ever gone through those rings. This is part of our fun time where we get to watch how many mess up on tanks, bumping in, or their fins or their hands, you were completely aerodynamic or nautical dynamic or whatever when going through. How did you do that? I paid attention. That's how I did it. I just did it as you saw me do it. But so that was part of that class, because I also had done the underwater navigation course, and there were a total of 3 females and then 1 male in the class. And that particular male wound up dating a little bit later, like years later. And then not realizing the hacking thing and stalking thing and any of that stuff. But that guy, you know, kind of saved his life, you know, just. But in the underwater navigation class, you know, the biggest thing that I remember, not just the aspects of, so let me finish with the peak performance buoyancy class before going any further. So the peak performance buoyancy class, that was partially done at Aquarina Hot Springs, as I said. And then the other part was done at Clear Springs Scuba Park. And one of the things that Patrick Lynch, I think that was who the teacher was, fairly certain. One of them, there were quite a few. What we had to do after a few different things was there was a stack of quarters, and we had to use our breath to lower ourselves. Then with, you know, 2 fingers, only grab a quarter, inhale, you know, and then exhale to go down to put the quarters. We could not actually, you know, just we had to use our breath the whole time in order to complete the course. And then we went through the shark, or Cisco, in the scuba park, and we had to go through that and not bump the tank. There were a few other things, but yeah, it was a dual type of aspect where we had to go through both areas. And then for the underwater navigation, we did do portions of the class at Aquarina Hot Springs. It's where we mainly did the kicks and stuff like that for the counting. But we also had part of the class in the Huntsville Quarry to find, what is it, the flamingos or something like that. We had to look because of the ability to triangulate the where we had descended in order to ascend correctly. And so in that regard, the aspects of both of those classes combined, I mean, each of my individual courses for all of my different specialties, there were multiple aspects which I had very much paid attention to. And, you know, not only did I read the coursework, but I also, I learned, I think it was probably about halfway through the 16 certifications that very few people actually read the book. Thought that was mandatory, you know, for the class. But I did it anyway, so, you know, and I continued on because, you know, why wouldn't I? You know, make sure that I understand the stuff. But, yeah, so, whatchamacallit? Yeah, I did write, I find it fairly ironic as one of the times, as one of the classes, a couple of the classes actually, Patrick Lynch had been my teacher for a number of courses, and my first country concert that I went to was someone with the last name of Lynch, like Dustin Lynch. Actually, as a quick little and I mean, after being in Washington State. So I had heard on the radio that at Steel Creek they were going to have Dustin Lynch there. It's like, oh, I like that song. I like that song. I mean, a bunch of his songs, but I like that. Oh, so, and it was okay for, like, you know, my son to go. And so I was like, okay. And my now ex-boyfriend, he went, but he just kind of stayed in the back. He didn't go anywhere near anything, and I was just like, hey, look, you know, and my son's just like, yeah, okay, Mom, it's a song. And it's like, no. I'm not going to tell my son, oh, I got a crush on him. He's so cute. I can look. I got eyes. I can look. But ironically, later, so for the anniversary gift one year, my now ex-boyfriend, but then boyfriend goes, oh, here's I'm gonna get you to go see, you know, Dustin Lynch. And I'm like, oh, cool, so we're gonna go to a country concert together. And he was like, no, I'm getting you a ticket. I was like, wait, what? He was like, yeah, no, you're good. Like, the anniversary gift is you're gonna, what? I don't, isn't like an anniversary supposed to be together? Like, I mean, I know that I haven't been in that many relationships that, like, that sort of stuff, but I thought that, like, anniversary stuff's supposed to go together. And he was just like, no, I don't want to go. And I'm like, okay, well, if I'm going to go, I'm going to go, and I'm going to go the way I want to go. So, similar to the Stoney LaRue concert, instead of wearing an underbust corset with a white long-sleeve t-shirt and shiny pants, not shiny, but like there were sparklies on my jeans, and a black leather trench coat with stiletto heels, I went with shiny blue jeans with sparklies on my pants. Either on my black leather, whatever, shiny somewhere, and then my black leather trench coat, and then heels. And then black and white corset. It was a white corset with black lace over it, and it had sleeves. And I mean, yes, I know I was in Washington State, but it was one of those like, tattoos and stuff. And so I got a VIP ticket, and I was like, okay, cool. So, you know, those who have gone to VIP concerts know, like, it's a section and stuff. Well, seat was like right in front of the speakers, so you know, I deal with headaches and migraines. I spent the majority of time out in the hallway smoking because it was so loud. But anyway, after a few times of going back and forth in and out, you know, each time showing my ticket, like, oh yeah, I got, you know, at first they were just the people were like, you're here to see a country music, yeah. I'm not going to tell you why. like it's supposed to be an anniversary gift, but, you know, I'm not going to go into that. But yeah, I'm here to see a country. Oh, you are? Yeah, I am. And so, like, by the third or fourth time, I don't remember if it was the same person or a different person. It is what it is. But I walk up and I'm like, yeah, here. And they're like, no, sweetheart. You go right. We know you're VIP. Go ahead. And I'm like, how'd you know? I didn't show you my ticket. I realize now I probably was the only person with and in a corset. Probably. I probably was. I realized that now. That was a few years ago. And so I'm not the sharpest crayon in the toolbox. I don't deny that. But yeah, so it's just kind of odd, yeah. And then, yeah, yeah, anytime I went to Steel Creek, I was wearing my corset when I went dancing. I did it. I learned how to Texas two-step in a corset and heels. And I learned how to because apparently there's a regular two-step and then there's the Texas two-step, so I learned how to do both of those. And yes, I did dance and do that in a corset. I did it.
realize until right now that that was a thing. That might be a little odd. But yeah, that's me. I did it. And if I ever date somebody and they want to go dancing, I'll do it again. Because that's just how. When I go to courses. But yeah. So, but yeah, I did it. And yeah, there was a guy that kind of looked like the guy who was at the Crown Hill, that looked similar to the male who had given me a card when in the hallway outside of the lunch concert at the Emerald Queen Casino. Yep. So yeah, but yeah, it's kind of weird that, I mean, I'm like, maybe it's a common last name, I don't know. But yeah, it was just kind of funny. I thought about that back then. I was like, oh, I have a scuba diver instructor. And then I actually wanted to go to the Oriskany because I spoke with that guy about going to the Oriskany. But I want to go on the Vandenberg instead. And so I never did get to speak with him about that. Because when I got back, he was going to the Oriskany and then like other stuff. So the next certification was the digital underwater photographer certification, and that was Richard Trout, and he's also who was my scuba instructor for cavern diving along. I know her name is not Carmen. I don't know why I keep wanting to call her Carmen, but I know it's not Carmen, so I'm sorry. I know that it's not, I just can't remember. I know she's like this tall. And she's blonde. That's what and she's not someone you'd want to upset. I know that. I know that for a fact. But yeah, she does cavern diving tours in the cenotes. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so during the underwater, and she's really, really nice. Oh, she's so nice. I wouldn't want to make her mad. I will say that. I would not want to make her mad. I don't want to make anybody mad, but definitely would not want to make her mad. At all. But I'll get to that. Yeah, no, because the cavern's certification. Yeah. Female cavern tour guide teacher? Not somebody you want to make mad. I don't want to make anybody mad. Definitely not her. I just, no, nope. Don't want to make anybody mad. And she's so sweet. She really, she, like when we talked, she was so sweet. Yeah, definitely wouldn't want to make her mad. At all. Whatsoever. Definitely not. But so sweet. But going back to so the digital underwater photography certification, Richard was my teacher and instructor, and so but then whatchamacallit, Jeff Davis was also there, and and so had talked with him, and I had gotten a digital underwater camera system with like a built-in light and strap for the wrist and all that sort of stuff. I got that one on eBay. It was 12 megapixels and it only zoomed in either 4 or 10. I was like, I'll just And so, within reason. And so, but yeah, learned a lot as far as like the correct way to put the camera in and out, as well as making sure the O-rings are taken care of, and then taking care of the lights and comparison and angling and using the whiteboard and stuff like that to get the correct type of pictures and stuff like that. And then there was also different ways to angle the camera for optimal light and stuff like that, which it was very similar in some regards to certain aspects of on-land photography, but definitely not the same because of obviously the color differentiation in reference to when submerged underwater compared to walking around on land. And so, but I learned quite a bit from Rich and Jeff. And there were a few other guys who also brought their cameras out, like Jeff Walters and stuff like that, or Waters. And, you know, we, like, there was a group of us that had been in the, it wasn't necessarily, like, I was the one in the class, but, like, there were a bunch of people that were just, you know, out there diving anyway. And so, you know, we all just kind of did the, well, this, I got this, well, I got this, well, this is what mine does, okay, well, mine does it, okay, well, mine does it, you know, guys talking shop. And so, where'd you get your camera? Well, I got my camera here. Oh, well, I got my camera here. Oh, well, you got that. Oh, okay. You got, well, oh, okay, okay. You know, very much like that. But I learned where to get my neoprene head cover because of a female that was there. She had a neoprene head cover. I was like, ooh, I want, you know. And now, not back in 2009 when I ordered it online. Now I realized that, you know, red is the first color you don't see when you drop down. And you know, makes perfect sense at this point why somebody didn't see my neoprene ladybug head cover when I was at the bottom of the ocean near the Vandenberg. I would guesstimate Rich would giggle a whole bunch and be like, I taught you that. And I'd be like, oh, I forgot. So, yeah, I have certain issues comes to memory stuff. And, but yeah, I also didn't know that there was a maximum security prison in the area. And so there were some people that were laughing at me because they were like, how'd you not know that? Because I didn't know that. That's why. But here are some pictures that I took. Oh, irony. So there's, and this is at Huntsville. So that's one of my scuba instructors. That's Jeff David. And he was in the quarry there. And so these are some of the pictures. That's Kevin and Amanda. Kevin Murphy and Amanda. And then there's Jeff Waters and Rich Trout doing some stuff. And then Jeff Davis instructing some of the class members. And then she gave me the sign of, you know, clearing the mask and stuff. And so, and I did not use any special filters. I did not do any Photoshop or anything like that when taking these pictures. It was just, I just took the pictures and got them that way. So, but yeah, so different pictures I took when in that class. I did that, yep. So, yeah, just different aspects of learning that. And so I'm going to end this particular one on the volume 1 of chapters 1 through 4 of The Adventures of Susan MeeLing, Scuba Diver Extraordinaire, written
by me, Susan MeeLing, Reverend MeeLing, Reverend Susan MeeLing, Lady Dori, Belle. I've got a few names.